Welcome back, Focus Learners. I was recently diving into some absolutely fascinating insights from the plumbing experts at Dr. Drain, and honestly, it completely changed how I view winter prep. I want us to start looking at our homes like a fortress, and right now, we're going to look at exactly how to prepare that fortress for a harsh winter siege. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this, because we need to shatter a massive illusion right off the bat. When you hear the words burst pipe or frozen plumbing, your mind probably jumps immediately to, a howling blizzard in late January, right? We imagine these sudden, catastrophic disasters that just happen overnight in the dead of winter. But actually, that is not the reality at all. The real danger is much quieter, and it sneaks up on us much, much earlier. And here's the most surprising takeaway from the experts at Dr. Drain. Winter freezes actually start in the fall, literally months before the coldest day of the year ever arrives. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter so much? Well, a pipe doesn't just spontaneously freeze out of nowhere. It freezes because the water inside of it isn't moving properly. That sluggish, stagnant autumn water sitting quietly in your pipes today, that is exactly what becomes expanding, pipe-bursting winter ice tomorrow.
So, what should we be looking out for right now? The experts highlight some incredibly specific fall warning signs. And it's not just about what you see, it's about what you hear and what you feel. It's those strange hollow, gurgling sounds coming from the sink right after you brush your teeth. It's that lingering water, sitting just a bit too long in the shower drain. And it's those sneaky, subtle cold drafts you might feel brushing against your ankles under the bathroom vanity. These are definitely not just minor annoyances. They're the quiet alarms of a compromised fortress.
So here's our game plan to winterize your plumbing. We'll cover clearing your indoor drain flow, protecting vulnerable sections, managing the exteriors and sumps, navigating low usage hours, and finally, the prevention advantage.
Let's move along and see how this builds into our core strategy. Dr. Drain outlines 4 main prevention tips. First, we tackle the clogs on the inside. Then, we armor the outer boundaries. Next, we check the yard and exterior. And finally, we maintain flow during those actual cold snaps. It's a complete, top-to-bottom defense strategy. Let's break down each one.
Step 1. Clear indoor drain flow. Okay, I know it's not exactly the most glamorous topic. Nobody wants to talk about pulling a Chewbacca-sized hairball out of their sink, right? But we really have to talk about the true villains hiding in your pipes. Hair, cooking grease, and everyday debris. These are the culprits that cause your water to stagnate. If you've got a slow drain in November, it is incredibly likely to freeze or overflow when the extreme cold hits in January. So, time to roll up those sleeves, clean out those sink stoppers and strainers, and if your local plumbing guidelines allow for it, carefully flush those lines with hot water to just melt away the lingering grease. Clear the flow now so ice literally can't take hold later.
Step 2. Protect vulnerable sections.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is something called the last few feet. The experts at Dr. Drain pinpoint this exact area as the absolute highest threat zone for freezing. We're talking about the spaces where your pipes are essentially left out in the cold. Unheated crawl spaces, chilly basements, inside exterior walls, and drafty garages. This is where the plumbing is totally stripped of that warm, cozy ambient heat from your living room.
To protect these areas, you've got to literally armor your pipes. Wrapping those exposed sections with foam pipe sleeves is a crucial first step. But it's not just about slapping some foam on and calling it a day. You must completely seal the gaps where drafts enter the house. Why? Because the physics are totally unforgiving. Even a tiny, seemingly insignificant air leak can act like a freezer fan, just blasting cold air and chilling the water inside that exposed pipe until it turns rock solid. Cut off the draft, and you cut off the freeze.
Step 3. Manage exteriors and sumps. Believe it or not, your yard plays a massive role in your plumbing's health. If you have gutters discharging right next to your foundation, or a yard that just naturally holds puddles of water near plumbing access points, you've got a severe freezing hazard on your hands. As temperatures drop, that pooling water turns to ice right up against your home's defenses. So you've got to direct those downspouts away, check your sump pits to ensure water doesn't back up toward the walls, and absolutely do not forget to shut down and drain those outdoor spigots according to the manufacturer's guidance, so water isn't just left trapped outside to freeze. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast we're talking about. On one hand, you have fall prep, slipping on some foam insulation, scooping a few leaves out of a gutter. It's simple, it's low effort, and it's very low cost. On the other hand, the absolute nightmare of a winter emergency. We're talking a burst pipe at 3 a.m., major structural water damage, and incredibly expensive emergency repair bills. The math here is pretty simple, right? A little bit of weekend work in the fall pays massive, massive dividends in the winter.
Step 4. Navigate low-usage hours.
When the temperature absolutely plummets overnight, water sitting dormant in your traps and drains instantly becomes your biggest enemy. Without movement, it freezes. So having these cold snap tactics ready is vital. You must keep the sink and tub drains perfectly clear so water can escape quickly. You should be actively checking the insulation on exterior walls for any signs of moisture or drafts. And if your local guidance suggests it, consider running a very small amount of water through your lines during peak freeze risk hours. Moving water is just so much harder to freeze than standing water.
So, the crucial point is perfectly summarized by Dr. Drain right here. The goal is to avoid long periods where water remains in vulnerable pipes without movement. I want you to lock this phrase into your memory. Movement equals safety. Stagnation equals risk. If you keep the water flowing, you keep the pipes intact. It's really that simple.
Finally, step 5, the prevention advantage.
Listen, if you've gone through this explainer and you still aren't entirely sure where the vulnerable blind spots in your home might be, or maybe your house just has a stubborn history of slow drains that you can't seem to fix yourself, please do not wait. The absolute smartest move you can make is to bring in a professional for an assessment right now, way before the first sustained freeze hits. Seriously, it is so much easier and way less expensive to have an expert clear a tricky line in November than to have them replace a completely shattered pipe in January. Which leaves us with this final, critical question to ask ourselves. Will a minor fall clog become your major winter disaster? The choice is entirely up to you. You've got the roadmap, you understand the hidden risks, and you know exactly how to armor your fortress. So grab those pipe sleeves, check those drains, and let's make absolutely sure this winter is disaster-free. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.